Welcome back to Swans Talk. It's 20 minutes reviewing the good, the bad, and the ridiculous of Swansea social media takes following the weekend's game against Middlesbrough and the Preston game, of course, last week. We're starting with this one, which says, let's hope that Sheehan gets more credit for these last 3 matches. 3 clean sheets against Blackburn, Preston and Borough is a superb return. So that's our question this week. Should Sheehan be getting more credit than what he's getting? And have we already found our next manager already? Some people are saying, yeah, what's wrong with it? We're also talking about wages across the Championship. Where does Swansea sit within the league and who's the top earner at Swansea? Plus, who we want up from League One. Stay behind in the video because I'm going to be putting to the panel whether they would love to see Wrexham join them in the Championship next season, because it's more than likely probably going to happen. We've got our fantastic panel of journalists and social media takers in Rich, Hugh and James back with us. Right, fellas, let's jump straight into our number one question then. Rich, should Sheehan be getting more credit than what he's getting?
I think he's getting the credit. It's well deserved, 3 games he's had. Tactical masterclass, I say, for Saturday. Absolutely brilliant performance. Could have won the game, been out of sight by half-time against a side where, if that was Luke Williams in charge, we would probably have lost that game quite easily. I'm very, very happy at the moment.
Okay. Following the Preston game, though, there were fans having a bit of a pop, which led to these kind of reactions. Alan Sheehan was purely brought in to steady the ship, Hugh. Get enough points for us to stay up, which 2 games in he's doing. Maybe is or maybe isn't the right man going forward, but the crap and nonsense he's having right now is absolutely pathetic. Do you agree that fans need to be a little bit more forgiving? I'm not looking at James here when I'm saying this, I promise.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Rich said, he's done a great job. Is he the future? No. Does he deserve the credit for what he's done in the last 3 games? 100%. And I completely agree with what Rich said. If that had been Luke Williams on Saturday, we would have lost that comfortably. I think he's come in under difficult circumstances. The club's a mess. The forum's been cancelled. Everybody was thinking we were getting relegated, and he's come in and steadying the ship, and that's exactly what was asked of him. So, yeah, credit to you.
Okay. This was on one following Preston. Jack says, some of our fans are insane. They expect us to go to Preston on a Tuesday night, one of the worst pitches in the league, while the club is in turmoil, and play them off the park. It wasn't pretty. We picked up a point and got another clean sheet. Instead, they questioned Sheehan. So, James, why are some fans still questioning you, man?
You have to look at the context of how long he's been here. So we've had him for about 10 games now, this stint and the last stint. 3 convincing performances in 10. It's a very, very small sample size. You can't get too sucked into the points return on it. I edge anyone just to go and look at those performances previously. Now, the Preston game is the rule, not the exception, because that is what we were seeing back last year. Blackburn, fantastic result. Had to be a response to the way we were playing under Luke Williams, and we played him off the park. He does deserve credit for what he's doing there. But as Hugh was saying, for me, he is not the long-term answer here. If we appoint the interim manager, we've seen this with various other clubs. Look at Cardiff is one prime example of it. Appoint the interim on short-term results. 12 months later, you're repeating the same cycle over and over again. I don't want us to do that as a club. He's done a great job. Now, if he can get a tune out with these players, imagine what a really ambitious, exciting appointment could get out of them. That's my take on it. He deserves credit for what he's doing, absolutely, but for me, he is not the long-term answer, and we can't gamble our long-term future on short-term results.
I think this is as good as we're going to get out of him, Rich, isn't it? From, what did they call him? The cone putter outer, was it? The cone collector a couple of weeks ago? Rich, there was some shout-outs for players as well. Let's focus our attention there. Newsant says, I could watch Franco and O'Brien all day. What a midfield. Sheehan has done a great job so far. We held on to Luke Williams far too long. Talk to us about your new look midfield.
100%. Last week I was saying O'Brien, massive fan. He's come in and he's made such a difference in the midfield. The 2 of them complement each other so well, and they've looked to time their runs much better than they did, really, perhaps with the perhaps unnatural partnership of Grimes and Franco. So I don't know. It's the setup just seems much more steady, even outside of the midfield, the fullbacks seem more disciplined. We look more solid as a base. And one thing Alan Sheehan said, which really impressed me, and he said this after Blackburn, was, I want to go back to the basics and get them right. And I think really he has stripped it back, and they are looking tactically sound. I'm quite happy to say we will go and play the likes of Burnley now and Leeds and give it a good go. And we won't anybody can get beaten on a day by Leeds by a few goals, but it won't be by lack of effort or lack of tactical knowledge. So I'm very pleased and happy at the moment.
Yeah, actually, we're putting a tenner on Swansea 0, Burnley 0 this Saturday. You can absolutely bet your house on that. Hugh, what for you has been the difference with the 3 clean sheets? Doesn't just happen, overnight, especially from a team like you guys that were conceding them for fun, weren't you, a month ago? So what's been the difference at the back for you, do you think?
I think Rich touched on there. I think it's just the basics, strip the back, and he's doing the basics right. I think he's the team are playing for him as well, because let's be honest, they weren't playing for Williams for the last few weeks, despite that fake huddle at Bristol. I don't think they were playing for him. After the whole debacle with West Brom, I think he lost the dressing room personally. And I think the difference is Alan Sheehan's got him playing the right way, and I think they're playing for him, and it shows on the pitch.
Okay. Let's switch our attention to the manager conversations. And we don't want to go on this every single week, James, but any new names out there for you that you've started to think about? I've got one for you before you jump in there. This happened this week. I don't know if you'd fancy this guy.
Oh,
Get out.
Left man.
Not again.
Feel sorry for him?
Absolutely not. No. Conducted himself awfully here and has got what he's deserved at Huddersfield as well. And guess what? You're still commuting back and forth from Cheltenham to Huddersfield. So unlucky, Michael Boy.
Yeah, I think you did call that last season when we asked you about him going to Huddersfield. Seriously, any names doing the rounds that you've got excited about?
Eder Sarabia is one that I saw. I think it was Alan Nixon linked us to him. He's current manager at Elche. They're 5th in the Spanish 2nd division. I think he was with FC Andorra before. Very, very similar style to what we used to play under Martinez and Graham Potter. That would be one I would be landed to get. If we could get him in the summer, if we can get a deal done and get him for the summer, I'd absolutely love that. That's a really good, ambitious appointment. I think if we could get that one.
Okay. We can't ask Rich that, but we can put to Rich your suggestion that came up on social media. Carlo Fio, attacking football, decent win percentage, out of work in the summer. It actually attacks someone with a document in his own club. Be a feisty one, Rich, having that.
Yeah, well, it's one of those ones. Is he going to be somebody who's going to be banned all the time and spending half his time in the stands with me? So, if he's good company, fair enough. But no, I seriously, I think we just got to have someone who's going to build a long-term project. And at the moment, it's very quiet. The grumblings are of, we'd like somebody in either before the end of the season if they're going to be coming in, so they can not go into another summer of transfer turmoil again. You know what you want. You can see the players you want to keep and know exactly what the plan is, how much money you got, etc. So I think if Sheehan's going to get it, okay, we want to know that before the end of the season. We don't want to keep him a few more games again, and we'll promise it another few more games. You want to know either way, but I think they're probably waiting until they're safe now, and then something will probably happen, I feel, personally.
Okay. And just to finish off this conversation once and for all, Hugh, this week Bristol City travelled to Sheffield United, West Brom travelled to Burnley, so those two in particular probably won't be picking up points. You've got a nice easy one against Watford, who are out of form. If you beat them and the other two things go to pass, you'll be 7 points outside of 6. Is it over for you in this conversation, or is there still some hope in your heart that maybe, just maybe?
No, there's no hope for me. And I wouldn't want to even be anywhere near the playoffs. The current state of the club's in either. We need a total overhaul, rebuild in the summer from top to bottom. The playoffs would be an absolute nightmare for us, and we would get absolutely spanked as well. I'm quite confident. So for me, it's no, just cement a decent finish. The higher the better, of course. But no, and we're still slightly looking over our shoulder, albeit just getting increasingly unlikely.
Yeah,
but
no.
Can't say never.
There's always one team, though, James, isn't it, that with 8-10 games to go, just goes on a run and tests it, because Are you not having it either?
Well, we nearly did it under Russell Martin a few years ago, and we had that terrible run, and then we literally ended up finishing 10th and 3 points outside the playoffs. So it's never say never, but there's a lot that can happen between now and then, and unless you're firmly cemented, in the top 10, I'd say it's very unlikely. We'd have to have a lot of things go our way, but stranger things have happened.
Yeah, okay. Let's talk about wages then this week. There's been lots of rumoured kind of wages and what each club is paying. Now, this isn't set in stone. We need to say that. Obviously, clubs have not released this kind of information, but there's lots of clubs, lots of organisations that use and predict these kind of things. So, Salary Sport, who is quite a reputable online sort of journalist for sports finances, reckon, Rich, that the Swansea wages is somewhere around 12 million for the year, and has you just below mid-table. Would you sense that is accurate enough?
We're going to be in the bottom lot, really, as such. I was surprised, really, looking at Coventry there, because Coventry have just offered our captain 3 times at least what he was on. So I can't see them being much lower than us. So we have got a small wage budget at the end of the day. We can't renew contracts at times because there's not much there in the pot to give, apparently, what we're told. So, for example, now we've got Harry Darling coming out of contract at the end of the season. He's probably one of the best centre-halves in the league this year, consistently, I would say. Mm-hmm. You want to be pushing the boat out to go that, but because of our margins of budget, we can't do it. We can't match the other sides, and we've left it too long. So he'll probably go on a free, like the likes of Ryan Manning has in the previous seasons. Another player of the season. So we're on a low budget, definitely.
Okay. Do you want to have a guess who the top earner might be now, according to Salary Sport?
Lewis O'Brien, I'd say, maybe, if they're counting loan players.
Yeah, it would be, yeah. So I don't know how much of the 50,000, reported 50,000 you're paying, but I would imagine it's all of it, would it? Yeah. Anything on there, Hugh, that's surprising you?
Christian Pedersen, Jesus Christ. How is he getting £8 a week, let alone 18 grand? Jesus. Yeah, I mean, there's a massive overhaul needed there. Fulton's another one for me who can go. 10 grand we can save there. Pedersen 18 is unbelievable. Norton is high. He's higher than I expected, but he's been an absolute stalwart of the club for the last decade, so I don't begrudge him earning that at all. And Vigro has been probably signing of the season apart from Franco. So, yeah.
James, anything on there that, I mean, it's all reported and very much hearsay, but
the Christian Pedersen one has sort of blown my mind, really. I mean, that shows you the expertise that Paul Watson was bringing to the club, doesn't it? I mean, you've got a Belgian international, Hannes Delquar, on less than Christian Pedersen, who's played twice all season. Oh my days! So much for that data-led recruitment that he promised.
Harry Darling's agent must be a tough negotiator to add that £231 in mind.
To cover his fate.
Well spotted. Right. Finally, this week, then we're asking our Swansea lot and you to put in the comments, please. Who would you love to see come up from League One? I think it's fair to say Swansea will be in the Championship next season. So which away days would you like to have? Now, the obvious question I'm going to start with here is, and we also have Cardiff like this, what your feelings on Wrexham coming up and adding another Welsh side to the Championship? Rich, are you for it or against it?
Well, it's a team with more money than us, so it's going to be, but then again, most teams are that come up. So it's great for Welsh football. Those games will excite fans. They're going to be full houses, I would have thought. With the American owners, it's just going to be fantastic to watch, I think. And if we can have great wins against Wrexham, and fantastic. So I think it's only good.
Hugh?
Yeah, I completely agree, Rich. It's good for Welsh football because historically over the last few decades, we've lost a lot of North Walian talent to the likes of Liverpool, Man United, all those sort of clubs. If we've got a top team coming through in North Wales, we're more likely to hold on to some talent up there, and it could only be good for the Welsh national team. So, yeah, I don't begrudge them coming out at all, and I think it'll be a cracking game.
Okay, James?
Yeah, I'd like to see them come up again. Anything that's good for Welsh sport, I'm happy to see it. And besides, we need 2 Welsh teams in the Championship because we all know there's one that's going to be going down this season. So we need someone to replace them, don't we?
It's weird you say that because Cardiff said no, they didn't want them in, and I wonder why that. Is. You say yes to them. They said no. I suppose they're worried about losing their top spot of,
It's either that or they get nightmares about seeing another Welsh team playing in red. Oh, no, sorry, shouldn't go there. Shouldn't go there.
Naughty. Right. Along with Wrexham, then, who else would you like to see come up? Rich, here's the 8 teams that we reckon it's gonna fall down to. We know Birmingham are there, but it's not about who's going to come up. It's who would you like to see?
Yeah, well, I think Bolton, are a decent team. I quite think they're a bit of an outside shout. It would be quite funny if Huddersfield went up after poor old Duff man got his sack, even though he was only a couple of points off the playoffs. But yeah, I don't know. Wickham have had a good year, and considering they've been battling against Wrexham and Birmingham with much bigger budgets, for me, I think that'll be a good achievement and a nice thing to see.
Okay, James.
For me, a bit of an out there one is Reading. They've been through so much lately with the owner that they've got there. And if they just beat all the odds to come back up, I'm sure that would make day-to-day survival a little bit easier for them. For me, I'd like to see them come back up.
Okay, you've been to Reading away. It's an
experience.
Yes. Hugh.
Yeah, James has stolen it again. This is spot on. Reading for me. I think they've been through a tough time. We've got a lot in common with them. I felt a bit sorry for them over the last few years, so I think they deserve to come back up. And I have done Reading away numerous times. In fact, it was my first ever game back after COVID as well. And for me, being in South East Wales is just an hour and a bit straight up the M4, so easy days.
Yeah, all right, good stuff. Thank you all so much. Right, enjoy your games against Watford and Burnley then this weekend, and we'll review all of that in 7 days' time. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you, you three. Have a good week.